First of all, I'd just like to say that I'm discouraged by the attitude that's been shown recently by some elected and paid officials towards the public, towards their own colleagues, and towards other commissions. In the last few months alone, in print and in public, those of us who have reservations about the way that development is taking place in this town or some of the plans are called negative. We've been branded as fear-mongerers. We've been accused of succumbing to hysteria. We've been labeled as people needing to be mollified and pacified like children. And we've also been told that we are copping out because we aren't jumping on the high-density bandwagon. Some members of the public have even been told that they are troublemakers for attending meetings and raising concerns. These have been told to them by members of either this council or other paid officials. Labeling and name-calling is an infantile divisionary tactic, often used when people don't have facts to support their position. It's easier to call people names and label them with inflammatory tags than it is to address their concerns with solid facts. Newington residents have common sense, are concerned, and have the right to participate in public discourse. We live in a town with character that we love. All we want is for those in power to listen and to think carefully before agreeing to irreversible processes that could change Newington forever, and if we're not careful, absorb us into two struggling urban areas. Also recently, some members of this council were scolded for wasting the time of the council and the town attorney when they asked for clarification on Robert's rules. Well, if you want to start talking waste, let's talk about some very recent examples where time and tax dollars were wasted by majority council actions, where instead of being in touch with the public, they took actions to try and advance their own agendas. First of all, the town hall renovation referendum, where the council didn't even consider the input from the public hearing, where the majority party was so sure of their own position that they pushed through an off-cycle referendum, and it cost this town close to $30,000. Then there was the exit survey conducted after the vote, an additional $7,000 expense championed by the majority party, as well as the focus groups that came later, and a couple more $1,000. Was anything new learned? I suppose for those of us who didn't listen to the public in the first place, maybe they did learn something. But in my mind, the results in the final report didn't warrant the time and the money spent. Another waste, how about the housing survey? I don't have the dollar figures on what that cost, and I think it was minimal. But there was a questionable expenditure of time and energy. The survey was not conducted in response to public demand, but rather it was pushed through by those whose position on transit-oriented development and high-density housing near the busway and the town center are very well known. Those people disagreed and ignored the work and the information that's already contained in the 2020 plan on that subject. So think of how that money that's spent on those above examples could have been used to help the library, senior center, or other town agencies faced with budget cuts. Finally, I just want to mention about the House Bill 6851. I'm not convinced that having the chief elected official in the town as a voting member is enough of a safeguard. First of all, it's only one vote. The agency still has too many political appointees who are going to vote in bloc for what the governor wants. Second, the protection offered of having the chief elected official as part of the agency all depends on how inclusive, informed, and transparent he or she is. Nowhere does it say that they have to hold public hearings. Nowhere does it say that they have to consult with anyone before entering into a memorandum of understanding. The chief elected official in practice could act behind closed doors, promote their own agenda, and have no accountability to residents. Now, would that be a prudent move, acting behind closed doors? No. But we know officials don't always act in the interest of their town. So, as our CROG representative said this morning in the paper, the changes to the bill are simply an attempt to mollify the people, and nothing is really changing in this bill at all. Our intent remains the same. Thank you.